Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi, how's it going?
Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Nice meeting you, first of all, and thank you very much for this interview as well.
I'm very happy to do it. Being a longtime fan of Suicidal Angels, it's awesome to be able to talk to you and being able to talk about some brand new music from Suicidal Angels, Years of Aggression, coming out August 9th through NoiseArt.
Mm-hmm.
And with that in mind, I've had the album for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I just absolutely love what's going on here. I love the aggression that's going on there. I love the diversity of the tempos and the styles that's going on there, and it just sounds like such a fantastic album to come out from Suicidal Angels in 2019.
Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your nice comments.
Oh, not a problem. So, with that in mind, how did the songwriting process begin for this new album?
Actually, I'm not exactly sure when the songwriting started, because usually I play guitar all day and I'm just like, oh, that's a nice riff, let's write it down and save it, work it later on. Usually I don't waste any time after the release of an album. As I told you, I play guitar all day, so I'm working more or less all day on the songs, on some new ideas, generally speaking. So for example, right now that we are about to release Years of Aggression, I'm already working on stuff for the next album. So I don't make a pause, I don't make a break or something, apart from touring, of course.
Oh, and that's...
yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that's so great to see that the songwriting from you and the riffs are always constantly coming out through you every day. I mean, whether you're working on a current album or the next album, it's great to see that inspiration constantly there.
Yeah, of course. And also when the songs are kind of ready, it's not that we have, like, for example, on this album we just have only 9 songs to work on. We have, on this album we're working on around 12 or 13 songs. But in the competition between the songs, on this race between them, in the end, only the strongest survive. And we are not this kind of band that we are just like, we just record 2-3, we create 2-3 nice songs and the rest are fillers. We hate that. If the songs don't make us headbanging, how are they supposed to make you headbanging?
Yeah, and that's such a great way to look at an album too, and that's what makes every album that I can think of from Suicidal Angels a great album, is because from start to finish it does have that great headbanging feel to it, and every song feels like it deserves to be a single, and it feels like it deserves to be heard rather than having any filler tracks on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way we see music. That's the way we see the songwriting process. We keep only the killers and we throw away all the fillers.
Oh, that's such an important thing too, because you never want to release music that you're not going to be 100% behind. I know other bands have done that, but it's great to see with Suicidal Angels that you do want to keep everything that you feel is going to be the best representation of the band.
We still have the passion for what we're doing. Simple as that. There is no other explanation. It's just like we still have the passion for what we're doing, and we do it in a passionate way, no matter what. I would prefer to quit for a year or more if I don't have the proper songs, instead of releasing an album which is gonna be like a black spot in the Suicidal discography.
Yeah, and that's another great way to look at it as well. Just like even if the inspiration isn't there right now, just like taking the time and making sure that you have enough riffs, enough tracks that you want to be able to take the time to be able to release that music, rather than just throwing things out there just to say you have new music.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that in mind, obviously with being able to get the riffs down in your head, constantly playing every day, which is so fantastic to see. What was it like to get the rest of the members of the band to be able to contribute their parts?
The process is like that. It's like I bring the main idea, which is like, it can be a couple of riffs, or it can be like half of the song, or it can be the whole song, or whatever. And we're just like, we are rehearsing, and through the rehearsing process, everybody's like kind of contributing a bit, like, why not to do this here? or why not to add this harmony on the guitars there, or let's make a pause here, and working and practicing over and over and over and over and over and over again, I mean more than 1,000 times, then you can have the final result, which is like going to be satisfying all of us.
Yeah, and again, it's just it's so great to see that too, with making sure that the rest of the members are going to be just as happy with everything too, and when they're able to contribute their parts to what you have for the main ideas. I mean, it's funny how that can work sometimes with the rest of the members being able to add some contributions to a song and making it sound even better than the original idea.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like we are a quite democratic band when it comes to music. It's not like that. That's a song, learn it, play it, and that's it. No, we're not working like that. We're not working like that, and we are not this kind of person. Personally speaking, I'm not this kind of person. I mean, I'm always open to hear somebody's opinion about, a band member opinion about the song, or you can even say, like, I don't like this main idea even, and maybe we can reconstruct something, or just throw it away and just work on another thing. Simple. We don't get stuck like, oh no, we have to do that, we have to work on that, and working over and over, and it's just like, it's boring. Fuck it, throw it away and make another one. Simple.
Oh, absolutely. So, with that in mind, was there any songs, particularly on this album, that had like a major like reconstruction or different than the original idea that you had for the album?
No, not on this one, not on this album. What we actually paid a lot of attention is during the recordings of the last song, because it's really slow and really dark and really atmospheric. We paid a lot of attention on that, because if you don't pay attention on this slow thing, it's gonna lose its majesty, it's gonna lose its power, it's gonna lose its atmosphere. So that we were quite a lot of careful during the recordings of that.
Yeah, and I was actually curious about that song in particular too, because it almost feels like a departure from the rest of the album, but it feels so natural on the album too, and for that it sounds so grandiose and a perfect way to be able to end the album.
Yeah, I mean, again, and the funny thing is that exactly before that song, you have the song Roof of Rats, which is like thrash and into your face, and then out of nowhere an acoustic guitar appears. Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah, and it's just like when you're able to like switch it to acoustic guitar, and just like change it from what the rest of the album was, let alone the last song that came before it. I mean, it's great to see that diversity continuing on with the band. It's like it doesn't always have to be such a great thrashing headbanging song, and when you're able to do a little bit of a departure on an album, it makes the rest of the songs feel even heavier and thrashier.
To be honest, we don't follow stereotypes. We are not these people that they are following stereotypes. So we don't follow any fucking patterns. I mean, like, it's music, it's free, it has no borders, you can do whatever you want. I mean, like, I'm gonna give you an example about this album. It's an album that has 9 songs, which are totally different between them, but all of them, they are under the thrash umbrella. So in total, when you finish the album, on the last song, you say, yeah, that's a thrash metal album. You don't say it's heavy, you don't say it's black metal, you don't say it's power, it's a thrash metal album. Even the fact that it has so many differences in it. Are you there?
Oh, yes. I was just letting you finish with that, but yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that, and it's just I am that kind of person that has that eclectic taste where you can throw in different types of styles and ideas into an album, and honestly, I think that can make the songs more powerful that way, like not being afraid to be able to have other styles, acoustic guitars, different speeds, tempos, whatever the case is. I mean, when you start to limit yourself for what you think you can write and what fits into a band, you start to lose some of that power of what the band potentially could be.
Of course, I mean, like, it would be really, really easy for us to just like grab the pattern of a previous album and just like copy ourselves and do something which we have already done. No, I mean, we want our albums to be fresh, because with every album we want to move on musically, and with every album we want to move on as human beings, because music is moving you on, not only music-wise, but also human-wise.
Yeah, and it's so important to have that in mind too. Like, when you're writing a new album, you want it to be a good representation of where the band is at that present time, rather than feeling like it has to be what it was previously, or if you feel like you need to follow trends or whatever the case is, because there's going to be that inauthentic feel to it in certain bands. I mean, some bands can write the same album over and over again, and it's exactly what you want from the band, but when it comes to something like Suicidal Angels, I love the fact that you're willing to try so many different things, and it still fits under that same umbrella of what Suicidal Angels can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you totally. I told you we like this freedom. We don't follow stereotypes. We don't follow patterns. We just like, is the idea nice? Does it fit to the band? Yes, it does. The idea is nice. Let's work on that. If it's slow, it is slow. If it's speed, it's speed. If it's mid-tempo, it's mid-tempo. Come on, for God's sake, thrash metal has all the speeds of the world. Slow ones, fast ones, groovy ones, everything.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I'm hearing on this album, too. I mean, no matter what the tempo is, no matter what the beats per minute are, no matter the instrumentation that's going on there, it all feels like a great representation of thrash metal. And again, it's great to see that another time with Suicidal Angels.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate your words.
Oh, absolutely. So again, with that in mind, with the album coming out in just a few weeks now through NoiseArt, what has been some of the reception that you've heard so far for the album?
With all the people that I did interviews in the previous weeks, I received the best of the comments so far. A lot of them, they said like, this is the album of your career, this is the album that you're gonna make the breakthrough, and this is a fucking absolutely great album. That's the feedback that I got from the people that have listened to the album from start to end. Now, going to the two singles that we have already released, the Endless War and the Born of Hate, these two songs, and watching at the comments of the people on the social media and the messages that we receive, the feedback is incredibly great, and I would like to thank everyone for their support and the love on the band. They all like this a bit more melodic element into the music. They liked it, and a lot of them, they were surprised in a really good way, and this is something that makes me really, really happy.
Oh, and I'm so glad to hear that too, and I'm glad to see that so many of my peers that you've talked to, and of course the fans out there, are feeling like this very well could be the best Suicidal Angels album, because I absolutely feel the same way as well. I mean, everything from the production, the songwriting skills, the diversity that's going on there, I think it's a fair representation of where the band is at in 2019, and I think once people actually get to sit down with this whole album from the fan base and really are able to appreciate everything from start to finish throughout all of this, I think they're going to be able to see what I hear, what other journalists have heard as well, and honestly think of this as the best Suicidal Angels album to date.
Thank you, Josh. Hopefully you're going to say the same thing for the next one.
Oh, absolutely. And so with that in mind, obviously with the music being so great and obviously some of the best of your career, and yeah, when just like you mentioned, you know, it's just like hopefully, and not hopefully, I mean, I imagine that it'll continue to keep happening that way, constantly putting out the best music. You know, the representation for the album is so important too, and it's great to see with the album cover for the new album just looks absolutely amazing. Where did the idea come from to use this as the cover?
I didn't get it, the last part. Can you please repeat the question?
Oh, sorry. I was worrying about the album artwork and how amazing that looks, and where the idea came from to use this as the album cover.
We are working with Ed Repka since 2010. This is actually the fifth album that he did for us. We have a kind of a steady cooperation with him. He's an amazing artist. He's a guy, I mean, like, his talent is, like, unique to my taste. And speaking about this album cover artwork, I would say that it's the first time that the four angels return on the album cover. Because the first time that they appear was on the album Dead Again, and now they come back all together. And because of the title of Years of Aggression, which actually sums up all the years that we have been around so far, if you take a closer look to the album cover, you're gonna see some hidden elements from all the previous albums as well.
Yeah, and I was noticing that as well, and you know, it's great to see that 4 albums later that all 4 angels have returned on it, and you know, it's just, I absolutely love the aesthetic that's going on there and the representations, and I thought I was starting to notice some like hidden things that were on the album cover, and it's great to see that I was correct on that.
Yep, you were.
Yeah, and again, it's just like, everything from the moon in the background to, just like the angels themselves. I mean, there's everything on there just like is such a cool representation, again, of where the band is at in 2019. And I just keep looking at it. I mean, it's such a great piece of artwork.
Yeah, I think Ed Repka, he topped himself on this one so far. I mean, like, it's so amazing, and I'm looking so forward to see this cover artwork on a huge backdrop on festivals. I'm looking so forward for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when you're able to get that giant backdrop on there. I mean, just like seeing that in its entirety, I mean, that's got to be a cool feeling to get that kind of artwork up there.
Oh, yeah. I'm so looking forward for that.
So, in speaking of that, obviously with the album coming out in a couple weeks now, the talk of live shows as well. I mean, how does it feel to be able to update the set list and bring some new material into the set?
Fuck me, that's really tough. Fuck me, that's really, really tough. I mean, we are on the 7th studio album and we already like, oh shit, alright, now we're going on a headline tour now. Which song are you gonna play from the new one? Which songs are you gonna throw out from the old set list? And I mean, this is always so tricky. And you can't play for 3 hours. So most of the times what we try to do is like to to include in the set list as many songs as possible from the new album without getting boring or tiring or whatever, because there are also people out there that they love to listen to the old stuff. So we're trying to make a really nice variety from the whole discography so far, and that's how we create the set list. And also we try to avoid talking too much so that we can have more playing time.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. I mean, obviously you want to be able to address the crowd and thank them for being there, but they're also there to be able to hear your amazing music as well. And it's great to see that between all 7 albums that are going on there, that everything should be able to get a good representation. Being able to support the new album, and of course being able to do these headlining shows. I mean, it's great to see that's finally happening.
Yeah, actually from 2014 and afterwards, we are in a really glad and happy position to be able to headline and gather people, especially here in Europe, in nice clubs and quite good attendance and quite good crowds.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I mean, obviously being in Europe, and there's so many great ways that you can play live shows. It's like either opening for bands or for headlining, or the amazing summer festival circuit. I mean, what's it like to be able to diversify and be able to adapt to all those different kinds of situations?
Depending on the playing time that you have, you just like make the proper selection of the songs. You can't do anything else. It's like if you have 45 minutes, then you have to play 45 minutes. If you have like an hour, then you have an hour. So you just do the proper adjustments. It's simple. And sometimes we do it like, we're like, okay, we have rehearsed like 20 songs and we're like, okay, which one do you want? Which one do you want? Between us, the band. Okay, let's do these 10 instead of, we have already practiced 20, 25, and it's like, okay, each of us has two options to choose. Like, okay, you choose 2, I choose 2, you choose 2, and then we have it. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's great to see that it can be that much on the spot too. I mean, when you're so well rehearsed and you have that many songs that you can be able to play at right off the top, it's great sometimes to just be in that situation where everything's set up, you decide what songs you want to be able to play, and just going out there and just showing the best that you can for anywhere from like 25 minutes to 45 minutes.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. I mean, we are a working band. I mean, like, we are rehearsing a lot anyways. Either we have concerts or we don't. We're rehearsing anyways. So for us, I mean, like, we're keeping ourselves warm anyways and always.
Yeah, and that is so important. And I think a lot of bands start to forget that after they're constantly playing shows and touring and recording, the importance of being able to play together as often as you can to be able to keep those chops going. I mean, whether you're rehearsing new music, whether you're writing new music together, whether you're just prepping for a live show, or just to be able to get your chops up as a musician. It's so important to be able to practice when you don't necessarily have something lined up.
Yeah, of course it's necessary. Of course it's really necessary and really important.
Yeah, and again, it's great to see that continuing on too, because every time that I've ever seen a Suicidal Angels live video or something like that, it always sounds like you're always at the top of your game, and because you are so well rehearsed, and it's great to see that all of that is backed up with how much that you do practice.
Yep, you said it on your own. I don't have anything to add. You said it on your own.
Oh, nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, it's just it seems like it's such a great time to be in Suicidal Angels right now. I mean, with a new album, lining up for new shows going on, and I'm sure coming up in 2020 as well, there's going to be a lot of great stuff that's going on with Suicidal Angels. And yeah, I mean, whether you're in the band or you're a fan of the band, there's so much to look forward to with the band.
The last sentence, just repeat the last sentence.
Oh, I was just saying, whether you're in the band or you're a fan of the band, there's so much to look forward to with Suicidal Angels coming up.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, we haven't yet started. The best are to come.
And again, it's just, it's so fantastic to see that too. I mean, obviously, being fortunate enough to be able to hear the album over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's just really being able to dissect the album and, just love the diversity that's going on there, no matter how fast it gets, no matter how slow it gets, and of course, the mid-tempo songs as well. I mean, there's everything I love about the band, everything I love about thrash is on this album, and the fact that it will be getting that fair live representation of what's going on this year, next year, and when you start writing for the next album as well too, constantly seeing that inspiration that's going on there. It's great to see that Suicidal Angels is always going to be at the top of their game, always constantly trying to release the best music that they possibly can, and right now in 2019 with the new album, you guys absolutely are doing that.
Thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate your words. I told you that more than once. Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, no.
It's really important for a band to have the support of the people.
Oh, it really is too. I mean, in today's age, I mean, you really want to be able to get the support of everybody around you, and it's so important when you do have great music like Years of Aggression is, that I want to be able to promote that the best that I can too, so the right amount of people are able to hear it, check out the band, whether they're hearing you for the first time or just realizing that Suicidal Angels is putting out new music, because this is an album that absolutely deserves to be heard by as many people that enjoy thrash metal, or bringing in people that may not be familiar with what you do or thrash metal, and I think this is a great album for that.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think on that note, I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you so very much for talking to me and letting me know everything that's going on in the world right now of Suicidal Angels, and of course the brand new album, Years of Aggression, coming out August 9th through NoiseArt. As I've said a few times now, I absolutely love this album. I feel it's the best thing that you guys have done to date. It's going to be one of my favorite album of the years come December when I start doing my best of lists, and it's great to see that you're feeling the same way. You're already thinking about the next album, thinking about the live shows, and just continuing on trying to make Suicidal Angels the best that it possibly can be.
That's what we're going to do for sure. We're gonna work our asses off and just be able to create the best of the music that we can. We don't want to disappoint our people that they have been with us all these years. We don't, all the new fans, we don't want to disappoint them. That's why we're working our asses off.
Oh, fantastic, and it's great to hear that as well. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
I would like to thank you first of all, I would like to thank you very much for this interview, and I would like to remind to everyone that we are the fucking fire and still is gonna burn. With all you together, we are the fire and still burns.